Well, hello everyone, welcome to Suzuka for round 15 of Season 2 of my F1 2012 career mode. I am LoveSpuds, and today my objective in the race is to finish second or above, which means I had a relatively good qualifying, as you will see here. I am in Q3, unlike in Singapore where the game decided it didn't want me to qualify and made the track out of ice. But enough of that, we're in Japan now. Singapore is behind us, and I didn't start this lap too well. Sort of messed up the first corner a little bit. But I seem to be regaining some sort of decent speed through these curves. That you have to have the right line on most of the time, otherwise you can lose so many seconds in that section. Going around the Degner curves. They can also be tricky. You can't be too greedy going in there, otherwise you just go straight into the gravel traps. And up into the hairpin now. Bit too much wheel spin and back end trying to slide out a little bit there, so that's cost me a little bit of time. I think I've set up this car quite well. I'm using the race department setups as usual. And the car feels pretty good. Although I am making a couple of mistakes in this lap, which probably will cost me the pole position. Let's see what we get when we get across the line. Full throttle down around the 130R. So I think that's what it's called, the 130R. Around the Casio triangle, down towards the start-finish line. What's it going to be? It's going to be 1/10 off Schumacher's time, which ends up being 6th, which is 4/10 off of Button's time. I did do other laps other than that one, but that one actually happened to be the best lap. So there you go, 6th, 4/10 off the pole position time, but my rival is next to me, Mr. Alonso. Got Hamilton up in front and Button on pole. Should be an interesting one. So hopefully I can dispatch Alonso pretty quickly. He's coming back on the outside though. Got to be careful I don't take him off like what happened in the real world when Raikkonen clipped the back of him and he went off and retired from the race. Probably cost him the championship as well. So I've slid myself into third, got ahead of Vettel and Hamilton. I must have got in front of Hamilton because I assume that's Button up in front. And this is where we're going to settle for now before we can make a move on Schumacher. Hopefully I can make a move into the hairpin, which is a prime overtaking spot. See what I can do here. Yeah, I couldn't slow down in time there really. If I'd have been on the brakes any harder, I'd have been locked up. And that would have been even worse. Might have even got a penalty. There's still plenty of time. They're not getting away from me, which is what I like to see. I'm hanging onto the back of them. I quite like this track. It's not a bad track at all. And as long as I can keep up these guys, it's fine by me. So we're going to come round 130R now. Got behind. Whoa, hello. Schumacher's out, it looks like. Oh, for some reason that made the game drop load of frames.
Michael stopped. Looks like it's the end of the race for him.
Michael stopped with some sort of problem. And that was a really bad place to stop as well. On a corner with high speeds as that. Good job I managed to keep out of the way of him. But yeah, unfortunately for Mercedes, Schumacher is out of the race, so I don't think we're going to catch up to McLaren anytime soon in the constructors' standings. Vettel's having a good run like he did in the last race. He's actually up to third this time round so far. He's come out of nowhere from being a midfield driver for most of the season. He's suddenly come out of the woodwork in Asia, in the Asian leg of the season. He's starting to challenge for podium places. As it stands in the rival battle between me and Alonso, I think it's about 1-1. Ideally I want to get this victory here to be ahead of him by the time the career comes around. Oh, Hamilton's taken Vettel.
Just ahead of you.
What? I think the engineer's taking some happy pills.
Michael's retired. Looks like it was his brakes.
Ah, okay, a brake failure for Schumacher. Just cost him any chance of getting some points here today. He's not really threatening me in the championship at all, so that's fine. I'm pretty much winning on all fronts in terms of teammate challenge. There are only 2 areas he can beat me in there anyway, which is possibly out qualifying me or doing faster laps in the race. All the other things I've pretty much won, so I think I've won the teammate challenge for the year. And this is what I did in qualifying. I actually went off into the gravel traps there, which has allowed Hamilton in front of me, and Button's gone up the road as well, so this isn't good for the constructors at all. Unless I can catch up to them, which I'm going to try and do, going up to a rich fuel mix. Wonder if I can at least get in front of Hamilton. Seeing as it looks like he's going to be our main championship rival, along with Alonso, who's somewhere down the order, about 5th or something. Getting right up behind him here, there's no point in making a move here. Let's try and make a move before the chicane, hopefully. Oh, not quite. Not quite, but I might be able to use DRS here once I get it across here, the activation line. And unfortunately it's not enough. And whatever these setups I've been using are doing to my car, they're not very effective with DRS, that's for sure, when it comes to race day. I mean, I could have easily used the KERS as well to give it a little bit of a boost, but it's kind of pointless when you're that far away from them towards the first corner. So I might as well save some KERS for later on in the lap, where I can hopefully make a difference. Getting right up close to Hamilton on the hairpin. Possibly a bit too close because I was sort of stuck on him there. Had to let him go. There we go, some close racing coming into the spoon curves. Oh, nearly. I just had the state of mind to back off there. Otherwise that would have been a bit of an accident. But I am right close up and behind him, in the slipstream. See if I can try again at the chicane. I braked myself again. Well, not again, but even worse than usual. Went straight flying in front of him. Good job he didn't like turn in, otherwise that would have been an accident as well. So sort of pushing the boundaries a little bit in my driving, it seems. I just really want to finish ahead of Hamilton. And that's the goal today. As Vettel thinks he can get into the action. I was going to say something about my driving. What was I going to say? I can't remember. I don't know, it's gone. I did actually have something to say, but I don't know what it is. Wish Vettel would go away though. Annoying little finger boy. Ah, he's alright. At least he's not a threat in the championship this season. It's all about the Brits this year. Definitely hanging on to the back of Hamilton quite well. McLaren not getting away from me like Button has. Oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say about the engineer taking happy pills, because he keeps saying there's slower cars in front when there's not. So let's dive into the pits now. Let's see what crap my pit crew put me into. Oh, there's Button. Just come out. We've got a history of holding me up for no reason, and then there's another one. At least it wasn't the 8 seconds, it was a couple of races ago. That was irritating. But unfortunately it's now put me up behind Alonso, so now I've got a little bit of a fight on my hands to make sure I'm ahead of him.
No more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tyres.
Oh Jesus, that doesn't help. Traction's improving a bit now. It's going to take me a few more corners to warm up these tyres, unfortunately. But the AI always seem to be a lot faster than you when they come out of the pits. They don't have the same problems. That's how it goes, I suppose. Who have we got behind me? We've got Perez behind me. He shouldn't be too much of a threat. He will be on the options though, which will annoy me slightly if he tries to make a move before he dives into the pits. It should be alright, it should be okay to keep ahead of him with a comfortable little gap, as long as I don't make a mistake, of course. Who's that in front of Alonso? Can't quite make it out. I suspect they've got to go into the pits in a moment anyway, whoever it is up there. Much faster in Sector 1, well, I suppose. Who's that? Who's that? Looks like... I can't quite tell who it is, to be honest. Maybe it's Vettel. Wouldn't surprise me.
There are quite a few cars in the pits right now. Watch out for cars exiting the pits.
Of course, it's worked out really well for Hamilton, who's leapfrogged the... who has kept his lead of us. And Massa has thoughtfully got in the way of Alonso as I try and go up that side, but that's not going to work because the AI don't really know you're there most of the time. The exact same thing happened there last year when I was in Williams, and the Force India done exactly what Alonso just did to me there. I should probably have learned that by now, but you know, at least I came off a bit better this time than I did last time. Hopefully Massa can hold up Alonso just a little bit longer so I can get past him. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was expecting him to be that slow. Still, my fault I suppose. At least I didn't make him spin, otherwise that would have been an automatic penalty. Of course, and I'm going up the inside of this little corner. I'm going to be on the outside of the spoon. But just make it round in front of Alonso, which is all that matters. And now I've got to try and dispatch Alonso. Not Alonso, Massa. Shouldn't be too hard really. I'm going to get up right behind him. Decided to back off slightly for the 130R. Because that's always a dodgy corner to try and pass on with the AI. Going around the outside and then on the inside here, which has worked in my favour, and now I'm up to 5th. Should have been here in the first place, or 4th if my team didn't hold me up in the pits. But never mind. The one thing that does matter is that I'm in front of Alonso. and if I can beat him enough times for the rest of the season, then I should get his seat at Ferrari. Because even if I don't get a McLaren offer, then I can at least go to Ferrari for a season or so. Should be interesting. Yeah, it's definitely Vettel. Well, I knew it's Vettel. I wouldn't assume there's anyone else. The German flag next to his name. He's got, well, the Toro Rossos. You got an Australian, and you got a Frenchman. And Webber is Vettel's teammate, so none of those are German flags, so that's definitely who it was earlier. And as you can see, he is 4th, which is in front of me, annoyingly. I think my aim for this race is to get up to 3rd position at least. 2nd if I'm lucky. But I think Button's pretty much run away with it. He's just gone around the first 2 corners now and going to that section of S's. And Hamilton's just in front of this 2-car group in front of me. So I wonder who's up there with them. Because obviously Schumacher retired. Button in 1st, Hamilton in 2nd, Vettel in 4th. Who is the mystery 3rd driver? 3rd place driver, should I say. I'd quite like to find out, actually. Maybe it's... oh no, maybe it's Grosjean. He tends to appear in places. Kinda does look like a Lotus as well. And Grosjean seems to be the slightly better performing driver this season than Raikkonen. So my money's on Grosjean. I think it's Button, Hamilton, Grosjean, Vettel, and then me, Mr. Spuds. Massa and Alonso seem to be having a little bit of a fight of their own, which I don't think Ferrari would be too happy about. I think Alonso's actually dropped back a couple of places. I think his blue dot is actually behind Massa and someone else. So Alonso not having a great day, which is fine by me. But my attention now is to catch up on Vettel, who is 1.7 seconds ahead. Massa is safely behind, 2.7, so he's not going to get DRS on me anytime soon. Taking those corners actually properly for once. It's always nice to see. I try and be precise as I can with the controller. So please excuse some of my erratic driving in places.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs, maximum power.
Some people are convinced that I use the steering wheel for this, but I can assure you I don't. I just am somehow really smooth with the controller stick. I don't know why, don't know how. Probably years of just driving with a controller. Suppose it helps. But I suppose that's my my key to relatively fast driving. I know I'm not the fastest, but I'm not too shabby. I try and use most of the circuit. I try and do smooth motions into the corners, because obviously that's what gets you some decent speed going through them, instead of jerking the controls around and ending up in a spin. Well, the good news is I've closed the gap to Vettel to 1.3, 1.2, 1.3. I'm going to switch it up to the rich fuel mix for why the hell not, basically.
We've only got a few laps left to pass this guy, so if you're going to do it, it needs to be soon.
So my target position is now 3rd, I think Hamilton's just a bit too far ahead to be caught. I am catching up on Vettel, which is good to see. See if I can get within a second, or at least get into his slipstream to make a pass on him. Because I want to be on that podium. Don't want to lose too many points to Hamilton, who is actually really not that far behind in the championship. I'm not too worried about Button. I think he's about a race win behind me or something in terms of points, but that might change slightly if he wins this race. Getting really close to Vettel now, definitely in his slipstream. See if I can hang on to the back of him going through Spoon without losing too much downforce. Whoa. As close can get. Alright dude, just driving alongside you. And he, whoa, turned in a bit too sharpish I think. But Vettel did back off just before that then. Just before that, so... oh, excuse me. Yeah, he backed off just before that, so everyone survived that encounter. He did try and come back at me because I think he managed to get DRS. But DRS isn't that great on this track. It only really works if you're right up behind someone. I mean, properly up their gearbox, basically. So yeah, I was right. It is Grosjean up ahead in the Lotus. Can I do it? Can I catch this guy, Roman, within 1.5 laps? It's certainly possible. Come up to the hairpin for the penultimate time. I am quite close. I can see his name now. Must be within a second, surely. Roundabouts. Let's just get into his slipstream as soon as possible. Ever so slightly wide on the Spoon there, but that's not a problem. As the wind goes quiet, I'm in his slipstream. It's always it's quite a freaky thing when you hear no wind.
We can't afford to lose too much time. Go for the overtake.
But now I am within a second over the detection line. On the activation line I get it, but unfortunately he is way too far ahead. Way too far ahead, so I've got to find an opportunity on this lap to take that third position, and I have set the fastest lap of 1:40.155. That's pretty cool. I would love to be faster and be on Legend by now, but I'm not really sure it's going to happen. Even through the testing I've done on different quick races, I just cannot be as fast as the other guys, especially in the late stage of a race. Oh, I'm going to make a move on the inside of Grosjean, just making it stick. A little bit of spin coming out of there, but that was fine. Held on to it nicely, and I have actually made it onto the podium, third position. And Hamilton is just a bit too far up the road for me to do anything now. The best I can hope for now is a breakdown of McLaren's. But yeah, as I was saying about Legend, I've done a few tests on quick race mode. Unfortunately, I am so far off pace, it's unreal in a top car. I haven't tried a 100% race yet on Legend, so I might give that a go. But that's a conversation for another day as I come through to take third place. Obviously I don't look too happy because I missed my objective of second, but third isn't too shabby at all. I mean, it's only one place off and it's on the podium. And in the last couple of laps, coming back to take Vettel and
That's a great
Grosjean
third place.
after that
Congratulations,
relatively bad
15
pit stop.
points.
Wasn't too bad a result at all. So where did Alonso finish? Alonso finished down at 11th for some reason. He just went backwards after a while. Maybe he hit Felipe, lost a bit of his wing or something. I don't know. He dropped back a little bit for some reason. And there's the DNFs at the bottom. Ricciardo, Verne and Schumacher, so both the Toro Rossos, and the Mercedes of Michael did not make it to the end, which is unfortunate for the Constructors' Championship, as McLaren have got another 1-2. And look at the gap now between me and Lewis Hamilton. We may as well have no points, because the gap is 0. We're on equal terms, and that's as close gets. And Jenson Button is 23 points behind us. And then we got Alonso, Schumacher, no one really threatening. Grosjean and Raikkonen actually having a little fight for that 6th place at the moment. Yeah, and there's the rest of the guys. Back markers, the usual suspects. Caterham with 1 point. Toro Rosso with a grand total of 3, it looks like. At the back. Williams doing okay, but I think they should be doing better considering the car I gave them. Maldonado has got 69 points though, so that's not so bad. I have to see where they are actually. They're in 6th. So McLaren at the top as ever. 81 points now ahead of Mercedes. It's going to be a big ask. And then we've got Ferrari, Lotus, Red Bull, Williams, Sauber, Toro Rosso, Caterham, Force India, HRT, Marussia. I think HRT have slipped down a place. I think they were in 10th but now 11th. But yeah, here we go. Let's just have a little bit of a celebration. Not an ecstatic one, but an okay one. Join me next time for round 16 in Korea. See you then.